Good morning. Digital asset guy here. Taking a walk in the morning. It's officially fall. I decided to wear my XRP summer hat one more time just because I'd like to reflect a little bit on the XRP summer that we had, in my opinion. It's absolutely beautiful out here. It is officially leather jacket season. Got my leather jacket. You know, I like this leather jacket. This is such a, what do they call it? First world problems. I do like this thing. I've always wanted to buy a Michael Kors leather jacket. And I'm a really picky shopper. It came on sale. I had these points. This collar, touching my chin all the time. I cannot stand it. It's so annoying. It's a nice leather jacket, but I absolutely hate this collar. It annoys the crap out of me. Other than that, I'm good. So gorgeous out here. So, I'd like to start by saying, yes, I sold some crypto. I do not say that often. I could say that about 4 times, maybe 5, but true sells in the last 9 years, almost a decade. I don't do that very often, but I went ahead and did it. Didn't sell all, didn't make a huge move in terms of crypto, but it was a life-changing move in terms of life. And it's just the weirdest thing. Please don't mistake me. I am not doing this video to brag or be arrogant, but I could not be happier with the move I made. And it really is incredible, the volatility in the cryptocurrency space. I know is a blessing, because if it wasn't for that volatility, if you're patient through that volatility, it has a compound interest effect that works exponentially. It's just absolutely amazing when you're patient. It's the weirdest thing, though. I'm telling you, it is so weird. I have people blowing up my phone asking if I'm all right because of the market crash. I don't want to sound mean, but these people watch my posts, okay? On social media, on Facebook and stuff. I get tens of thousands of views. That's not that much. But most of it's like local people in my home city. I know they watch it. I see how many people watch the stories, on my Facebook and Instagram. And I've been posting for years. I don't give financial advice or investment advice. I just show people what I'm doing and what my thought process is. And I share things from the past. Because my motto as the digital asset guy is live in the past and the future in order to make the best of the present. Because I believe you've got to do all three, Anyway, I share things, and I know this sounds mean, but it's almost like people can't do elementary math. I've been telling people, I have been accumulating XRP, Cardano, XLM, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and then probably 10 other altcoins. I've been accumulating them for almost 10 years, some less, 5 years, but I was not buying them at all-time highs. Bug, sorry. I hate bugs. I was not buying them at all-time highs. Definitely not. I did that a little bit at the beginning, but then I learned quickly. Sorry, that bug really freaked me out. I've never liked bugs. So anyway, people are calling me, are you okay? There was a huge crash. Folks, if you were accumulating XRP under 20 cents, I've got my buys. I was just looking at them. A lot of it I loaded up at 18 cents. After the lawsuit was announced, we crashed down through the floor. I remember buying XRP below 15 cents. When you've accumulated, and then we're up at $2.60. You know, let's just say I bought at 26 cents and we're up at $2.60. That is a 10x. You know, yeah, we were up at $3.50, but you know, nobody ever sells exactly the top, but even if you just unload a little bit of risk and profit, you know, it's a pretty good play. So I don't understand, I just don't get it. People call me, are you okay? There was a crash. You probably lost your shirt, somebody told me. I did not. I still got my jacket, and this collar is driving me insane, but oh well, I don't know. So let's chat about the market right now. Yes, we had the major liquidation. Blockchain backer was trying to warn us about it. He took a lot of heat. I thank God that I started following him, and he proved to me years ago he really knows what he's doing. I'm not a chart analyst. I'm a long-term investor, and I do think one of my best skills that I've learned is being able to read the market sentiment. And I'll tell you, I just noticed something was different about a month ago when we were butting up against all-time highs. You know, we're right up there trying to break through, but we kind of didn't, and we're just hovering at all-time high. That's very strange. Okay, I've been in this space for 10 years. We don't usually just stick around at all-time high. We're either down or we're up. And so I started realizing what's going to keep us up. You know, maybe more good news, which I heard, you know, a lot that was expected, but doesn't seem like it now. And then all of a sudden we kind of have all of these uncertain factors come at the exact same time, which is interesting to me. But we've got the Trump trade war with China. That's what started the liquidation. And then all the leverage traders, it was just a chain reaction of just, you know, those guys selling on leverage. I don't do leverage. I don't think I ever will. But that's pretty much what happened, is those leverage guys and girls, they got wiped out. And it just started a chain reaction. And that, of course, affected the sentiment. We've got the government shut down. You know, that's not going to be good in the long run. That's basically freezing all of our crypto legislation. We're supposed to have the Clarity Act passed in the Senate. We're supposed to have 18 XRP ETFs. Those are frozen now. We had all this good news coming, which I thought might kind of catapult us up into the new highs like I thought we were going to do. But you can't do that if it's all taken away suddenly. So I started kind of synthesizing everything, and I came to the conclusion I don't see what's going to keep us up. And I am so far in profit. Yeah, I wanted to go into an alt season. I wanted to see a $10 XRP, $8 or $10 Cardano, maybe a $2 or $3 Stellar, you know, maybe a 50-cent VeChain, maybe a $10,000 Ethereum. I wanted to see all those things, but at least right now, that's just not what we're doing, because everything's frozen basically. And when we're at all-time high, we don't stay there. This thing's up or it's down. So I decided, even though I really didn't want to, because holding or hodling has been a really good way to go, but I'm so far up that I just couldn't justify it. I just realized in order to, you know, I didn't need to, but I just made a conscious decision. I want to go ahead and take some risk off the table. So I went ahead and sold between 10 and 25% of most of my coins that I hold, depending on what they are. And I couldn't be happier with it, with that move. You know, I've got significant amount of my portfolio still riding, you know, and might sell more if things look really, really bad, but even then I wouldn't have to. You know, it's just funny, the volatility in this market, it's a blessing. I mean, I sold the bare minimum of what I wanted to, and I'm looking at the actual numbers when it comes through, and my bank, I won't go into detail, but you know, freaked my bank out where they're like, you know, this is a lot. We wanted to call. You're moving some serious stuff around. It's almost funny to me. But then I just was staring at the numbers like, man, you just sold the bare minimum of what you wanted to, and it's like life-changing. Yeah, it's not where we want to be, but we'll eventually get there. It's just really crazy. But and then mix that with people calling me and blowing up my phone asking if I'm okay. It's just the digital asset guy is always against the herd my entire life, ever since I was a little kid in elementary school. You know, always been against the herd, and I guess that's okay. It's not always fun. Oh, hi doggy. But it's not always fun, I'll tell you that. But I don't know, I think I prefer it most of the time. So, not financial or investment advice, but I want to talk about 2 rules that I have just kind of realized during my time in crypto. 2 things that I think really get people in trouble when they're investing in crypto the most. Selling all or selling none. When you sell all, you're out. The people whose lives are changed in crypto, that happens because they're in the market. Okay, yeah, it can be scary where you want to get out, you want to, you know, secure some profits, but then you're out. So if you sell all, you're all out, and you know, getting back in is easier said than done. I'll go into that in a second. When you sell none, if you're just getting into crypto, that can be a good thing because you're staying in the market. Yeah, things get a little volatile, but if you're in the market you're in and you have exposure, you know, no one has ever, well, I don't know if this is still true, but before this market cycle, no one had ever held Bitcoin or most of the cryptos in like the top 10. Like we're talking Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, those ones. No one had ever held them for 4 years without being in profit because they just went up after the 4-year cycle. We might be done with the 4-year cycle because it's kind of like a 5-year cycle. But my point is, if you stay in, you're in. When you get to a certain point though, where you have enough, you're in profit, you know, almost in double-digit multiples, then there comes a time where if you sell none, you know, it's not really going to affect your life. So let's go back to rule number 1, never sell all. Back in 2017, when I was mining Ethereum in my dorm room, you know, and then we graduated college, my friend and I, we had, well, I should say we were separate even though we were doing it together, but I had a lot of money for a kid just graduating college. You know, enough. In 2017, we were mining Ethereum when it was like 20 bucks a coin, lower. We didn't even know what we were doing. I wish we would have. We could have really, you know, made the right moves and bought some more graphics cards. I went into that in other videos, but I had enough where I could pay off all of my student loans and then still have some if I would have sold, you know, the majority of my Ethereum. I really thought about doing that. When I watched Ethereum rocket up to 1,200 a coin, I was excited if it got to 100 a coin, which, you know, it was just unreal to me. So when I watched it rocket up to 1,200 a coin, I could have sold and became debt-free, you know, and had even money left over and all the things. I guess they're putting a gravel road in here. Could have done that, and I was about ready to. And people were saying, no, it's going to 10,000 a coin. It's going like Bitcoin. It's following right behind in this cycle. Gonna go. And I'm just thinking, okay, so I hold. And I didn't really follow blockchain backer and the chart guys, and I didn't have the experience for myself. So I just went with the herd, and we came back down, and I didn't sell any. I round tripped it. I was so mad at myself. I was like, what on earth is wrong with you? We could have sold, became debt-free a couple years, like the year after graduating college, and had money left over. We could have been the man. Like, what is wrong with me? I was like, there's something wrong with me. Why did I not sell? I know why, because I listened to other people, and so I was thinking I should have sold, and then I could have even bought back in lower when it got below 1,000. Back in the hundreds. Back down below $100 maybe. That was cemented in my mind where you buy Ethereum, you know, because that's what I did. And I watched it come down, and I thought I could have bought back in. I should have. I would have liked to have gotten back in, you know, around $100. Guess what? If I would have gotten totally out like that, I would have never gotten back in probably, because it didn't go that low. You know, it stayed above, I can't remember the actual numbers, but it never got down that low. I think we were down around 200, 300. Yeah, I might have bought some, but I would have probably never gotten back in like I wanted to. So that's just something to think about when you're early on saying, I'll sell and I'll buy back lower. That's easier said than done in this market, because it probably is not going to go back down to where you feel comfortable to buy, because that's where you bought before. So that's just something to think about. You know, I remember in the last cycle, I followed blockchain backer and a couple other chart analysts, and just the overall sentiment. Everybody was saying, yeah, this is it, where Ethereum's going to 10,000 a coin. This was in 2021, where we got almost to 5,000 a coin. Almost went with the herd again. Said, I'm gonna hold. But I realized, you know what, we're almost at 5,000 a coin. I was in this, you know, pretty early. I'm gonna sell some. So I sold a little bit. Fraction of my portfolio, was able to pay off all my student loan debt. I mean, like there was nothing to it. Was thinking maybe I should sell a whole bunch of it, really improve my life, and I can buy back in when it gets lower. You know, maybe when it gets under 1,000, even if I have to buy it at 800 or whatever, 500, I'll buy back in. I ended up not selling, you know, anymore. I sold a little bit, like maybe, I don't know, maybe 20% of my Ethereum. Didn't sell anymore. Boy, was I glad that I didn't sell the majority, because we never got below 1,000 again. I would have never gotten back in, probably. So that's just hopefully something, you know, a real example of just me personally, why I'm glad that I never sold all or a giant majority, because getting back in is easier said than done. And your life is changed in investing by being in the market, not out. Yeah, you can get out at the right times, but so anyway, those are two rules that have just kind of naturally become a thing to me. Never sell all, but then when you get to a certain point where you have life-changing wealth, selling none is also, it's not a bad thing, but it's not really going to help you when you reach a certain point. So, same thing happens with XRP. It's a little different though, because it's so volatile, and I have high hopes for XRP in the future. All the things Ripple's going to use it for, and just its raw utility, instant settlement. If we do go into a bloody bear market right now, you know, I'm excited to buy more. I really am. I think it'll be incredible. And when you get to a certain point in this market, you kind of see what's up, and you're like, yeah, when it goes down, it's not scary because I made the right moves at the right time, and I'm ready to play, you know, both sides. So that's just something to think about. People are absolutely blowing up my social media, direct messages, phone calls, texts. I just had an in-person class in my city. Like a month ago, I had about a dozen people show up, which I'm glad they did, but it's just funny to me how people, you know, they'll send me messages on Facebook and Instagram, and they'll, you know, like it's some big secret or something, and, you know, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? I tell them I don't give financial or investment advice, but I just tell you what I think about things, you know, and we go from there. But then they'll like erase their message where it's like all secret, or it's just honestly kind of funny. But I have not, you know, hardly made any money as a consultant with my digital asset guy logo and all that. You know, really, I'm just fascinated by crypto and the blockchain and the technology. I just simply love talking about it. As you can see, it's a giant bird. As you can see in here, and that's what I like to do. So I enjoy, you know, helping people with crypto and learning the basics, even when they kind of, you know, they all want to chase the market. They don't want to make the right moves at the right time. They want to jump in the bull market. And I think in one of my last videos, I talked about how I was afraid people were going to get wrong-footed and jump in the middle of the bull run right before the top, or at the end of the bull run, and that might have been what we just witnessed last week. So it's gonna be interesting as usual. Don't forget to get outside and touch some grass. I just love fall. It's just so gorgeous out here. And yeah, remember the saying, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. But just be very mindful of, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, I'm buying the dip. You want to buy the dip, not financial advice. I like to buy dips, but, you know, I don't want to buy at the end of the bull run when we're about to go into not a dip, but a bear market. Just look at the chart. Pull up the all-time crypto market cap. Yeah, buying the dip is one thing, but buying the top of the market is not the same thing. So just be mindful of that. Guess that's about it for today. Main thing is, it's just mind-blowing to me how being prepared can put you in a great situation when everybody else is panicked and panic selling or buying the top of the market. But that's why I always say time in the market is always going to be better than timing the market, because no one can really time the market. Buy now and in a month, you're rich. That kind of works if you're in a full-blown bull market, but that's never going to be better than like dollar cost averaging in the bear market. So thanks for coming on a walk with me today. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. I do most of my work for free. And if there is a way you'd like to pay me back, it would be just in likes and views and shares, because I just want to talk to and teach the world about crypto. Digital Asset Guy out.